Hello everyone, welcome to my next video blog. In this video blog, I'm going to speak about Azure policies, how do you control the network securities with Azure policy as part of your landing zone design, or you want to be implementing Azure policies to govern and to create and manage the rules that enforce corporate standards or organization requirements to assess the resource compliance. So let's see what we have. Azure policies, it's been quietly used in Azure public clouds, which helps to controls your resources for the security and configurations by evaluating resource properties against the logic or taking actions for auditing or you want to deny or block any non-compliant creations. So in that way, it just helps you to have some kind of use case like restricting allowed virtual machines or you want to block someone creating or assigning public IP address to a virtual machine or the resources in the Azure cloud. You can have some kind of blocking public access to the storage account or the PaaS services. You can have the next set of action like remediating the non-compliance existing resources automatically using managed identities. So how does this works? Like you create a policy, you assign it to the scope like target resource like subscription or you want to specifically apply for the management groups and you have the assignment, then you have to choose effect like what is it you want to someone to audit or you want to deny it or you want to deploy if it does not exist. So a couple of options available. Let's see how this can be used with networking security controls. That's our key focus today. Okay, let me deep dive. So yeah, just want to give you background about what is Azure Landing Zone. Landing Zone provides the foundation which provides established governance and guardrails has been ready for the organization. This is the latest picture which has been by Microsoft. You can just see on this blue box which is inside this provides the Azure landing zone. On top of that you have the platform landing zone and below you have application landing zone like platform landing zone where it provides security guardrails management identity and the network connectivity for the hybrid via express route or gateway VPN etc. And anyone wants to host the application, you want to do a lift and shift, that belongs to the application landing zone. So how does this been related to the network security controls for the policy? Because this structure exactly what been represented in Azure Cloud Adoption Framework, it's called CAF. That gives you how to assign the policies. The policy should be assigned at the top layer. You see here it has management groups created here like the top layer is called tenant root group. Underneath you need to have something called intermediate root like your organization name or you want to call something specific to that you can just create, then you just go and do this landing zone structures. Okay, let's deep dive into the portal and see how it works. Okay, yeah, I'm just showing it my non-production environment so you might slightly is a bit similar. So this is my management group. You see, this is a tenant root group. That's the topmost layer. Usually when someone creates subscription who has an access to do it, subscriptions belongs to that tenant root group. So ideally we need to have something like Azure Landing Zone, which I'm being called. So Azure Landing Zone, if someone wants to call their organization name, just go with that and create two different management group. One is for platform, other one is for the landing zones. The platform is where it belongs to the like identity, security, networking platforms comes up on top of that, and landing zone is where application landing zones or subscription or workloads goes there. So I created a subscription underneath on the platform because that's my subscription which goes to all my platform level information like identity, network connectivity, everything sits there. So this is the structure. Always keep the structures consistent so that the policies applies on the intermediate management group where this is where it belongs. Once what happens is it just been inheriting the policies which has been applied to this, it automatically carries forward to the landing zone which is a child management group and to the platform which is another child management group, and it just carries forward to the resources underneath of a management group. It's called subscriptions, so it just carries from the parent to child. That's perfect. So all the policies goes here. Let me go here. This is my Azure policy portal. um, I can just want to show you some like assignments what I'm been part of this networking security, I created a couple of custom initiatives. Like policies is one policy, initiative is a combination of multiple policies. It's just been grouping all your policies required. So I'll show you something like web and DDoS protection. This is my custom initiative policies. I created this. You can just see what are my initiatives here. And I'll just try to show you something like, okay, these are the policies. Like you see, WAF should be enabled for application gateway resources. What happens here is when someone creates an application gateway in my subscription or in my tenant level, they need to have WAF enabled. If not, it just says that, okay, it has been non-compliant. It just applies for the friend door as well. WAF has to be applied, and the WAF has to be enabled for the friend door endpoint as well. So make sure it has not been missed out when someone creates it, and it just gives in compliance information to me to saying that, okay, you have 10 resources. Out of this, 5 has been compliant and other 5 is non-compliant. I'll show you in a couple of minutes. Similar to that, the bot protection has to be enabled on the Azure application WAF as well. That's a specific managed rule, has to be enabled. And DDoS should be enabled in my tenant level so that I have some DDoS protection which is across my tenant level. This is just an web and DDoS protection initiative. Let me go back. You can just see the compliance here. At the moment, I don't have much of resources with anything, so it's just been compliant here. Okay, let's go to different initiative. I'll show you how it works with the non-compliance information as well. Okay, let me go to this segmentation and boundary enforcement. That's his name. I called it. It's my thing, and you can just have some different names as well. But what you have to do is you have to look at the compliance level. If you look at the compliance level, it says, okay, everything has been compliant. I don't have any issues here. That's perfectly fine. If you want to look or you want to edit this assignment, you can just go back and just say view the initiatives. You can just able to see what are the policies have been combined to use this. Like network interfaces should not have public IP addresses. I, network interface should not have disabling of IP forwarding should be disabled. Gateway subnet should not have an NSG, but that's what the requirement default in Azure. So someone has to make sure someone is not messing with that so that it should not be get any issues. And all the subnets should have an NSG groups. So perfectly fine here now. Let me try to show you something like you see here, network public IP address should not be attached. Okay. Let me try to show you how these policies work. You see here is, let's go here and you see the scope. It's been applied to the Azure Landing Zone. That's a intermediate management group and it just been pushed from hierarchy wise. So the policy has been pushed to my subscription. Okay, let me go to the subscription. I have a network virtual interface within my subscription. I'm trying to add public IP, which is available into my subscription for to this Nick. Let's see what happens. I'm trying to associate the public IP address. I can create one or I can just use one. I'm trying to use the existing. When I click on save, it just gives me a failed error and just says resources was disallowed by a policy. And the reason is I'm just using my own wordings for that non-compliance. It is demo restrict using policy of segmentation and boundary enforcement. So that comes as part of this initiative, which has been applied on top of the management group. So that's how someone can just get it that way that you're not allowed to create public IP address in the subscription or the platform level. It's blocked. You can't do it. So we've seen this. I'll give you one more example. I'll go to the perimeter and firewall enforcement. I'll show you the compliance level here. Looks like I have one non-compliant here. What is that is storage account should be disabled the public network access so that we are just blocking the exposure of my storage account doesn't has to go to internet. So that's what here it's been. This is a storage account. It's been non-compliant. You can have the details here, which explains this is my resource name with all this information. Currently, the value has to be this is the target value which has been currently checking by the policy, and it's been enabled. So you can just go and just disable the public IP address for this resource, and you can able to create here. Or if you don't want to do that for a specific reason, you want to enable this, just go and create an exemption for that specific resource, or you want to call it a resource group or something, you can just waiver it and put some information you wanted. And if you want to have some expiration date, like you set it for next 1 month or 4 weeks, whatever you want to call it, you can have that as well. That's a level of information you go in detail to block that. Let's try to create a new initiatives. Okay, let me try to show you how to create these initiatives and how it can be assigned to the into the Azure policies. Okay, I'll want to create a new policy for my VMs and NSG hardenings. What I want to do is I'm just creating initiative definition. Where do I want to store this? I'm storing it in my intermediate management groups. I'm just storing there. What is the name? I'm just calling it like VM and NSG hardening. It is my definition. You can want to create something like description, add the description. What is the category? I'm just trying to use my existing category called custom. I have created this earlier, so I'm just using existing. If you're doing it in your environment, just go and create a new custom category. That will be easy for you. Go next. I want to add the policies, which has been existing policies like internet facing, virtual machines. I think something is wrong with this, what I'm searching. Yep. Internet facing virtual machines should be, sorry. Internet facing virtual machines should be protected with NSG groups. Yep. This is the policy I want to do it. Okay. I can go and add multiple policies like non-internet facing. I know the error. I think it's not exactly same. Facing virtual machine. Yep. Should be protected as well. Non-internet and the internet should be protected. What I want to do is I want to add one more policy. What I want to do, I'm just looking at what policy we can do it. We just try to add one more like IP forwarding. Yeah, the next policy is IP forwarding on which should be disabled. Okay, we have 3 policies in this initiative. Let's try to create these things. You can just go to next. You can just click and create. Just create it. It just created the initiative. Now let's go back. We just got created now. This has to be applied to the management group so that that can take effect. Let's see. Go to assignments. Sorry, I just clicked assignments. I should do assign initiatives because we created assign initiatives. Like what is a scope? The scope is my intermediate management group. Do you want to create any exclusions? No, I don't want to do anything now. Just go as standard. Initiative definitions. Like you can able to see all the initiative definitions here. What I want to do is my newly created one. Yep. VM and NSG hardening. That's my assignment name. What is the enforcement? Default is just enforce it. Do not enforce another option. Okay, let's click. This is the non-compliant message. You have to say policy block with VM and NSG hardening initiatives. Okay, let's click next and create. It just goes and creates. Yep, it's been assigned. Just takes a couple of seconds to be here. just created. I just want to make sure it is just initiatives. Let's take policies out. I want to show you what been created. You see here web traffic and other things created. I think it just takes a couple of minutes or seconds probably for the portal to refresh. Then we can able to see this where we have this VMs one which we newly applied policy making into effect. So this way you can try to block your firewall things like NSG block, or you want to do something like blocking the public IP address, and all those things can be comes into effect. So you see here, this is the newly created one. And my favorite policies like allowed location, like you don't have something created outside of your Azure region, like Australia. You don't want to create anything going outside of your region. You can just block that with these policies as well. Hopefully, I gave you some good information with Azure policies. How do you want to block your NSGs or traffic analytics on your NSGs? How to block the public IP address? This way helps you to enforce your network security controls via Azure policy. Hopefully, you had some good time. I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you for watching it. Have a nice time.